2. Okay, that last piece demonstration was using a rhythm that I call like a fast samba. It's great for fast tunes. I mean, you can even go faster than that, and it's physically not that demanding. That particular style included a bass line with it, but just a simple 1/5 bass line. That's also a very useful rhythm for double timing something. In other words, like if something is like this, I'll use the same B flat minor. If something is like this, it can easily be converted to this. Back to back. And even if something was fat, like originally fast, like this, double of this still isn't that hard. So that rhythm can very effectively house very fast tempo. You know, it could work very well in fast tempos. Now, I have kind of a key. I don't mean musical key, but a sort of a key that unlocks how you can remember this figure. And I don't know if you've ever heard this. This is a familiar figure that I've heard going way back. It's like this. It comes from an old rock and roll. It's this. I'll just do this. So notice my foot is always beating in halftime, not this. It's more of a half. The Brazilian samba is really a halftime feel. But if you get this figure, so I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's not what we play. We don't play that. But if you got that figure, if you can memorize that figure, boom, boom, da, boom, boom, that's the key to unlock this rhythm. Now this particular rhythm that I was using just a second ago in the video, a few minutes ago, was a combination of a pick, and I'm using the round edge of a pick. I like the round edge. I get a little more mellow sound. We'll talk about that more later. But a pick and these three fingers, since a pick requires 2 fingers, these fingers are left over, these 3. Now, the classic style of playing with, classical guitar, they don't really use the pinky at all because of the short length compared to the other fingers. But and usually they use long nails. Now I don't particularly care for long nails, and I'm not from that school of classical guitar playing. So I just find that my pinky works very well for me. It's a matter of taste. If you have a problem using your pinky, if you have an orientation that's more classically trained, then you wouldn't even be holding a pick at all. So then you would be doing this, using these 3 fingers and the thumb, like. So that works well too. Now the reason I like to hold a pick is because in the scenario of doing a jazz tune, I'm going to hopefully eventually solo in the tune. So I like to have my pick in my, some guys, they hide the pick, they do this, and play. I never got comfortable with that. I don't mind holding the pick and using a combination of pick and fingers. But this particular rhythm, I'm going to show it to you using the pick. But you could always substitute your thumb and these 3 fingers. So the key here is, well, first of all, the combination of strings is very important as well to do this, to be accurate. And you want to in the beginning, you want to place your fingers exactly on the strings that you're going to use. In other words, this is a B flat minor, 7th. So this is, so I'm only using 4-part harmony. I'm not doing this or this. I'm just going to be controlled using just 4-part harmony here. So here's the B flat minor 7th. And I notice that when I arpeggiate it, the fingers are lifting off gradually, but before that, my fingers are placed on the strings like this. And the idea here is to get a good balance. Like when I do this, I have a balance between them. Now, that might take some practice, because when I've showed this before to some students, sometimes their balance isn't good. The pinky might be weak and they might not hear all the notes. So make sure that you work on your balance and kind of lift your hand like this, rather than, because this, rather than pull, just kind of lift, because the pick is going this way and the fingers are going this way. So it's almost like kind of squeezing your hand like this. Even if you're using your thumb, I kind of do this, kind of squeeze this way, not like pluck out. Now that's my style of doing this. Now I'm not saying it's the only one. I mean, people can have to find their own niche, their own ways of doing things. I'm not really a believer in only one way of doing things. So, but within reason. I mean, if you're playing like this, obviously you might have a problem. But so just work on the balance. So try to get these 3 fingers to balance, so you can simultaneously hit the strings and the pick like this together. I look like I'm pulling off, but I'm not pulling off. I'm not like doing too much of this, because you don't want to waste the motion. I mean, this is essentially the same as pulling off, but this in a smaller increment. Like, you can't. I wouldn't do this. I like to have a little bit of motion, but not exaggerated. Like not too much, because it takes too much time to get back. So now here's where the figure comes in. Remember, the figure was. That's going to be the key to have you be able to play this correctly. And there's also an accent, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So in other words, this figure, the figure that you just heard, is going to manifest itself like this. the first beats are together, and then the next one is the chords, the chord part, and then the bass will answer. Well, in this case, I'm going to do the fifth, so it'll be like this. So when you slow it down, it's like this. You'll notice I'm not dampening my strings. I'm not doing this. I'm keeping everything sustained. The only thing that stops the sustain is when I retouch the strings with my fingers. So watch. Even the bass notes are real legato, it means they're drawn out. So see if you can hear that figure in this. If you remember that, it's don't, down. So it's. So it's together, chord separate, and bass separate, so it's breaking it down. And then a chord by itself. So together, chord, bass, chord by itself. When you do it slow, you don't really get the whole picture, so try to speed it up. So first it might be academic and mechanical, like you might be doing. Notice my foot always goes on the right place. Your foot should match your bass note. Because the foot is on the downbeat, so 1 and 3, since it's a half note feel. So it's as you speed it up. And once you start to get to this point, just for a variety, move the chord around a little bit. Now that's using the combination of strings on the 6th, the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd strings. Now with different combinations, obviously different combinations, you're going to require your fingers to be on different places. For instance, if I was playing an E flat minor 9th, okay, the bass is 1/5 in this pretty much. If you're using a combination here like E flat minor 9th, where the root is on the 5th string, then the bass is going to go, it's going to be like that. So really your strings are going to be closer together, so your hand position is going to be, you're not going to have that little 1 string gap between your pick and then the 3rd finger. So it's going to be together like this. Again, you practice for balance. Get used to this. So again, here's the figure. Now, if you notice there's an accent, it's this one. Accent meaning there's a one pulse that's louder. So the way you get accents happening, some people approach accents from just playing something very loud, but the best way to deal with accents is to play everything softer than normal, and to let the accent be normal. I mean, that's also cool. Like, watch. So the accent is when your fingers hit the bum ba. It's that anticipation of the beat. So slowing it down. So that one's going to be loud. This one. The second one. First is together. The second beat is going to be louder. So, and the bass, you want the bass to be loud. You see, notice how soft it was. So if I go, I don't want to do that. I want to keep everything kind of even except that accent. Listen. Here's a little progression you can try. Just E flat minor, 9th to E 9th. On the E 9th, I'm using the open E. I said I wasn't going to get into this, but we're right here. 1/5 on the low string, so that's a nice little vamp. really fast. Now don't let the accent drive you nuts. First get the coordination, that'll be the very last steps, and the accent is really subtle, it's a subtlety. So yes, it is the accent, you can use the accent, and you should work yourself into trying with using the accent, but the accent isn't the main thing. The main thing is the energy of that rhythm and keeping that going. So different combinations of strings are going to give you different things. For instance, if I have a B flat minor and I want to play the ninth on the bottom, here's a B flat minor, and here's the ninth. So I just might use 3-part. Now I might do this. Experiment with bass lines. If you're going to be on a chord for a long time, let's say it's a minor chord, you can go. I was doing this one. I like this one a lot. So it's 1 5 2, which is ninth. 1 5 2 5. So I like that. I like that feeling. Brazilian music, they use the fourth. They might go like this. That changes it a little bit, but I like that. And backwards instead of going. I think sometimes they play it. So have fun with this. This is a great rhythm. It comes in handy, and it's definitely using the fingers and the pick, but you can easily transfer. You guys that want to just use the no pick on this, just do this. Now, the thing about using no pick, it's kind of a trade-off. If you use no pick, you have an extra, if you're used to using your pinky, if you're not afraid to use it, you have an extra note there. Well, look. So. For a guy like me who uses his pinky or elbow or anything, I'll use anything. It comes in handy to be able to have both techniques. You know, sometimes I'll just put the pick down. Even sometimes, if it's a slower tune, I won't even use the pick when I solo. I'll just play with my thumb. How's the sound of that? And for a fast passage, I might hammer. Also, I've worked on, you know, trading off between the thumb and here. Now, again, I don't like using my nail, so I'll use this. But this finger, I haven't gotten this finger to sound as good as my thumb, so I kind of don't do that a whole lot, you know. And classical people, I think, use these two more or less, but with nails. So it's a different sound. You know, the pick is kind of like a nail, you know, in a sense. So that's this segment of let's call it the fast samba or the double time samba.